The 6-year gap had been at its widest. Iris had still been at school, Rosemary in the full swing of a season. Even when Iris came home, the gap remained. Rosemary's life was one of late mornings in bed, fork luncheons with other debutantes, dances most evenings of the week. Iris had been in the schoolroom with Mademoiselle, had gone for walks in the park, had had supper at 9 o'clock and gone to bed at 10. The intercourse between the sisters had been limited to such brief interchanges as, "Hello, Iris. Telephone for a taxi for me, there's a lamb. I'm going to be devastatingly late." Or, "I don't like that new frock, Rosemary. It doesn't suit you. It's all bunch and fuss." Then had come Rosemary's engagement to George Barton. Excitement, shopping, streams of parcels, bridesmaids' dresses. The wedding. Walking up the aisle behind Rosemary, hearing whispers, "What a beautiful bride she makes." Why had Rosemary married George? Even at the time, Iris had been vaguely surprised. There had been so many exciting young men ringing Rosemary up, taking her out. Why choose George Barton? 15 years older than herself. Kindly, pleasant, but definitely dull. George was well off, but it wasn't money. Rosemary had her own money, a great deal of it. Uncle Paul's money. Iris searched her mind carefully, seeking to differentiate between what she knew now and what she had known then. Uncle Paul, for instance. He wasn't really an uncle. She had always known that. Without ever having been definitely told them, she knew certain facts. Paul Bennett had been in love with their mother. She had preferred another, and a poorer man. Paul Bennett had taken his defeat in a romantic spirit. He had remained the family friend, adopted an attitude of romantic, platonic devotion. He had become Uncle Paul, had stood godfather to the firstborn child, Rosemary. When he died, it was found that he had left his entire fortune to his little goddaughter, then a child of 13. Rosemary, besides her beauty, had been an heiress, and she had married nice, dull George Barton. Why? Iris had wondered then. She wondered now. Iris didn't believe that Rosemary had ever been in love with him, but she had seemed very happy with him, and she had been fond of him. Yes, definitely fond of him. Iris had good opportunities for knowing, for a year after the marriage their mother, lovely, delicate Viola Marl, had died, and Iris, a girl of 17, had gone to live with Rosemary Barton and her husband. A girl of 17. Iris pondered over the picture of herself. What had she been like? What had she felt, thought, seen? She came to the conclusion that that young Iris Marl had been slow of development, unthinking, acquiescing in things as they were. Had she resented, for instance, her mother's earlier absorption in Rosemary? On the whole, she thought not. She had accepted, unhesitatingly, the fact that Rosemary was the important one. Rosemary was out. Naturally, her mother was occupied, as far as her health permitted, with her elder daughter. That had been natural enough. Her own turn would come some day. Viola Marl had always been a somewhat remote mother, preoccupied mainly with her own health, relegating her children to nurses, governesses, schools, but invariably charming to them in those brief moments when she came across them. Hector Marl had died when Iris was 5 years old. The knowledge that he drank more than was good for him had permeated so subtly that she had not the least idea how it had actually come to her. 17-year-old Iris Marl had accepted life as it came, had duly mourned for her mother, had worn black clothes, had gone to live with her sister and her sister's husband at their house in Elverston Square. Sometimes it had been rather dull in that house. Iris wasn't to come out officially until the following year. In the meantime, she took French and German lessons 3 times a week and also attended domestic science classes. There were times when she had nothing much to do and nobody to talk to. George was kind, invariably affectionate and brotherly. His attitude had never varied. He was the same now. And Rosemary? Iris had seen very little of Rosemary. Rosemary had been out a good deal. Dressmakers, cocktail parties, bridge. What did she really know about Rosemary when she came to think of it? Of her tastes, of her hopes, of her fears. Frightening, really, how little you might know of a person after living in the same house with them.